Hey everyone, I wanted to thank you guys for the positive responses on my last video, despite my disclaimer that it might not be all that good. I was having a very emotional day, which I'd mentioned. I had mentioned that a friend snapped a photo of my ex at a bar and sent me the picture, and as funny as it was, because he was dressed really crazy, it was just weird seeing his face, because I really hadn't looked at him in a while. I still have all of his pictures, I just don't have a reason to look at them anymore. So I was feeling kind of strange when I saw him. I also found out that some friends who had warned me that he was manipulative and abusive and I should break up with him are now telling me that he's changed. He's super nice, he's so much fun to be around. They're now under that same spell that I was under, and it's making me very angry. It just really goes to show you how charming and how powerful their manipulation tactics can be. So I'm going to put my frustration aside and continue with this video. Today I will cover two red flags, which are different, but I would say they're somewhat related. I don't think I can come up with enough material for each of them separately, so I will include them in this one video. As with everything, these red flags are measured on a spectrum, so every narcissist will exhibit these traits at different levels, because no two people are the same. The narcissist is a know-it-all. They know absolutely everything, and no matter how much knowledge or education or experience that you have in something, they will know more than you. I've seen this in both my mother and my ex-boyfriend. And this goes hand in hand with my other red flag video on grooming, which I'll put the link down below for you. Grooming is when they offer you unsolicited and often very rude advice in an effort to get you to change. So they often offer you advice on things that they don't know that much about, but aside from giving you advice on things, they will disagree with you a lot. Because regardless of how much experience you have in something, they will always know more than you. They might disagree with their boss. If a narcissist goes to a doctor, they might disagree or disregard what the doctor thinks, because in their head they know more than the doctor. Everyone will have different experiences, of course. So what I dealt with the most with Robert is that he would always tell me about dieting and exercising, like he knew what he was talking about. I've mentioned this several times in previous videos. I'm very, very into eating healthy and working out, and he is not. He's not into that stuff at all. But he would always offer me advice about this stuff, and he knew nothing about it. I have a friend who's a competitive bodybuilder, and I heard the two of them talking once, and Robert was telling him about the right kind of protein shakes to drink, and it was just very laughable because he had no idea what he was talking about. He would also offer me advice on being a girl, and he would say stuff about how to make my toes feel better when I wore heels, or the right sleeping position when I had cramps, or the best store to find skinny jeans. Stuff that he had no business giving me advice on. We would go to a lot of concerts together, and he would talk to these professional, very experienced musicians like he knew more than them. And at the time, I was so smitten and in love that I believed every word he said. But I could tell that these guys thought he was a total joke, which he was. It was a very sad dynamic. But this does line up with one of the signs of a narcissist, which is feeling that they are only understood by very special people. Robert was very delusional in that respect. Now, I don't remember if I made a video on this topic. I would have to look back. But narcissists have a tendency to talk at you and not to you. Having a conversation with a narcissist turns into a lecture, no matter what the topic. Robert loved making friends with people way younger than him because he felt that he could teach them. He wanted just a band of followers to look up to him, like he was some type of a great role model or something. He found very naive people in their early 20s, sometimes even younger than that, which was very creepy, and he would charm them into thinking that he was the greatest person ever. Now, as far as being a know-it-all, I do feel that my mother was worse. She wasn't delusional in the way Robert is. He lives entirely on a different planet. My mother has all the other red flags of a narcissist. She's very conceited, very stuck up, and very obsessed with her own life. But I wouldn't really say she's delusional. An example of her thinking she knows everything: she has never owned a dog in her entire life. But when my cousin adopted a dog, she started telling him how to train this dog, and she didn't even know what she was talking about. And growing up, she would offer me advice on everything, no matter what it was. You will probably notice this in your narcissists. They will just show off that they know everything, and they'll undermine everyone. They are also huge hypocrites, which is another part. I will give credit to the narcissist support channel for this one. I'm citing a lot of material from Dana's video on this topic. So the thing you might notice the most is that they set double standards. They will behave a certain way, but they will expect you to never do the terrible things that they do. They will lie to you, they'll be mean, they'll cheat on you, but you're expected to remain just wonderful and perfect and loyal at all times. The respect that you give to them will, of course, never be returned because they don't respect you. They might expect you to be open and transparent with them at all times, but they'll be very secretive about their own life. They might establish that a certain topic of conversation is off limits, but they'll bring it up. But if you try to bring it up, they'll get very angry at you. They might borrow money from you and then make excuses about paying it back, but if you borrow money from them, they'll remind you about every single penny that you owe them. They might also establish what they want from you, and then when you do it, they get upset. Oh, my cat just sneezed. I don't know if you heard that. That was cute. I noticed this an awful lot in my relationship with Robert. He's in a band, and he's way into women that have that rock and roll stripper look, and he always said that he needs a girl to match the way he looks. So a few times when I dressed like a stripper, he got angry because he was afraid that people would judge me. I remember on Halloween once, we were at a party, and I dressed as a sexy nurse, and I was feeling really great. I got a ton of attention, and I kind of liked it, but he didn't like it. The attention was on me, and not him. So he made me feel really terrible, and he told me I didn't look good. So I went back home and I put on regular clothes. And later in the night, he was angry again because now I'm not sexy anymore, and all the other girls were wearing costumes and I wasn't, so you really can't win with a hypocrite. If you refer back to my video on stonewalling, which is the silent treatment, he would often not respond to me if I was talking to him, but if he wanted to talk to me, he would blow up my phone and demand that I spoke to him. If I wanted to discuss something with him, he would say no. But if he wanted to discuss it with me, he would demand it. Everything is always on their terms. It's not equal, and that is a huge part of the general inequality and double standards and hypocrisy that you'll experience in a narcissistic relationship. This type of relationship is not a two-way street. If you point out this bad behavior to your narcissist, they'll come up with reasons to justify their behavior. And the next video in my series will be about how their excuses and reasonings and justifications only make sense to you. So thank you so much for the support. I will try to have a new video for you in a few days.